Hey, how you doing? Just want to show you a little clip about how to make a snow shelter, or also called a Quincy snow cave. I see so many times people who do this actually the wrong way, and so the snow shelter is actually inefficient. So this way, it's tested by students of me who were outside by below 25 and were laying on their sleeping bags. Then they were too cozy actually inside. So I'll show you the steps how to do it, and well, I hope it will help you to make some cool snow shelters. Okay, here you can see this dome-shaped snow piece I made, snow pile. And how you can see is, if you do it right, you don't need to go very far. You just take the snow from all around and just pile it up. Like you see, I didn't go very far. Okay, this is in my backyard, but I didn't go very far to pile that up. So it's actually fairly easy. Now, this pile, I made that yesterday in the evening, so it's pretty hard. Now, if you have to do it in the same day and the snow is not very good, pile that up and then wait an hour or two before actually starting the next step. That will actually hold the pile better together. So what's really important is that you have a nice dome. And one little trick that people neglect a lot, and you need a platform in here, is that you on one side you're lower than in the other. So a little hill on a hill, that's the best place to make actually this kind of shelter. So let me show you the next steps. Okay, I show you the next step. My daughter will help me with that.
Attends Eliane, attends pas tout de suite, enlève-le.
Okay, I prepared a couple of sticks. Now this is only necessary if you don't have a lot of experience with that. I built maybe about 50 or so of these shelters, so you don't need them at one point anymore. Then your experience will show you when to stop shoveling. These sticks that my daughter will put in the shelter now, they help you when you will shovel the inside out, all the way in. Eliane, mets-le tout dedans. They will help you to see when to stop shoveling, so you don't shovel through the roof actually. So what we're doing, we're placing them all over. You can put more in or less, depends on your experience, like I said. So you take the stick and just poke it in. The stick is maybe about 10-12 inches wide. So you can see, vas-y, mets un autre. You can see how far apart my daughter puts them. Ça c'est un très petit, mais c'est pas grave. Mets-le au milieu ici entre les ouais. So you can see there, he's putting another one in. And don't try to wiggle too hard so the hole doesn't get too big. Okay, I will show you once you're done how it looks like. Okay, we placed the sticks all around, so we didn't place much, then I don't really need them anymore. But just to visualize, you see the sticks poking out everywhere. So you can put way more of these sticks in, just to help you make it easier. Okay, now the next step is to figure out where is your door, the main door. Then there's a little trick I will show you. It's a modified snow cave, or Quincy, how I call them. What we call them here in Quebec. I want to show you. And first you have to know where's the lowest point, meaning, okay, I didn't, this one in my backyard, there's no need to actually set that up, that that you put it against the south or anything. The most important here is actually where my neighbors, so the door is not in the wrong way. But normally you would set it up so the wind is not hitting the door, and when you plan it in first. But otherwise you just want to choose the lowest point. So you can see it slopes up there and there's going up there. So this here is pretty much the lowest point. So the door will be right here. I just show you that will be the door. Now, if you see that this is the door, the one problem you have when you do quinzhis is that you lay on your belly on your knees and on your back to actually hollow that thing out. So the problem is you get all wet. So the one solution that is really actually helpful is when the door is there on the other side, I go to the opposite side in the back here on the high point, and what I do, I make a back door about that high. Sounds ridiculous, I know, but you will see later why and how we close that up again. Okay, actually the why is then this way we can shovel. This is pretty high, so we can shovel out the inside without getting all wet from both ends, the entrance and the rear part where we're actually laying. Then there's a platform where you're higher, and then it goes down to the door and outside. So this here, once it's shoveled out, we lay sticks on top, then pieces of ice or whatever we can find, bark, and then we close it up again with snow. So this way you don't get all wet. So we start and show you the progress. Okay, I put up my tripod, so actually you can see this hole took about 2 minutes to do. So sure, the further you go in, the harder it is to get out, but it's actually really quick to hollow out, and you don't need to lay like this on your back, and that's the biggie. Now, one of the big mistakes people think about snow shelters is they make them way too high. So your platform is here, the door on the other side is way lower. So this part that goes like this and then down, you actually almost can't sit up in there. So the space is just your head from the wall, from the ceiling is maybe a foot or 1.5, not something you can sit up on. That makes it actually really easy to heat up. The big problem is when you have like a ceiling when you can sit up and you still have a foot above you. That makes it so much empty space to heat up. You will never get heated up without a big sleeping bag or a blanket or anything. So I continue hollowing this out, and then I show you from the other side how to start the door. And this works actually really good even when you don't have a shovel. I have even 2 shovels, a smaller one for the inside, but just with snowshoes or just, you know, like a broken off tree has like this slab sticking out. You break one of these off, they're great shovels. I made shelters with that without any problems. If you don't have any other chance, well, you still can do it by hand, but that takes just way more time. Okay, so now here we are at the front door, ready to attack that portion. So, like you see, this is actually really small. You don't want to go big. You can all the time make it bigger, but afterwards to patch it, to make it smaller is actually way harder. So again, I just go really low to the ground and stab out this portion here where the door is. Now, if you want, you can always throw the snow that you just take out here right on top. I don't do that, so you just see the original part of the shelter, and the walls will be maybe that thick. Now, once you slept in it and it's all iced up in, even that thick, you can put like 5 to 10 people on the shelter like this and it won't collapse. So it's really sturdy, especially once you slept in it and it's iced up. A lot of people, they are really afraid it breaks down on them and it will suffocate. And even when it would, if you're not a child, a small child, you just can push through that, no problems. But this is actually really, really sturdy after one night. So let's get back to the entrance. So what we're gonna do, we just cut it out, and really small in the beginning and go bigger. And the entrance, I go all the way to the ground. Then remember, I want to do this entrance platform thing where I can sleep on the platform, and I explain later why. You can already see actually how handy that comes, the back door to hollow out. Then right now all I have to do is go in and up, and I will get already in the hole I made in the back part. Otherwise I would have now creep in, lay on my back, shovel that thing out without making a huge hole here. So the door stays as small as possible. Okay, this is a little bit too small and we maybe have to go a little bit bigger. But still, you can see the advantage of that modified snow cave, or modified Quincy if you want so. So let me do that a little bit and I come back to you. Okay, you can see now, like, this is the entrance, and you can see there I joined the part from the back already. I show you from the other side, but this was about 10 minutes worth of shoveling. If you would have done it all from the front, it would have been way more time consuming. So just to show you, here you can see, go inside and you can see how this place comes together. So this will be maybe this will be a 2-person Quincy shelter. For 1 person you would go way smaller than that, of course. And I know in the beginning lots of people will feel some type of claustrophobia, but believe me, that goes away. You just have to tough the first night. That's the hardest one. That was it for me anyhow. So there we go. I continue shovel that out now and make a nice platform and show you where we get with that. Okay, just want to show you a little trick, but before, here my daughter just showed me how she does a spear point by rubbing a stick on ice. Vas-y, montre-nous ça. Comment tu le fais? I didn't show her that. Okay, I just want to show you some details here in the snow shelter. I don't know, the camera can pick that up, but at some spots you have the feeling you can see almost the light through. Well, that's when you don't need these sticks anymore. You can go just by the light that's shining through, especially on sunlight. Here you can see it actually pretty well, especially on sunlight, sunny days. It's pretty easy to see actually. But for the beginning, you can put, just like I did this here, the sticks in. So a little trick. Let's imagine you figure out you poked through somewhere. It's actually really easy. You can still go and just go on the outside and throw some snow on there. So let's just do that to show. Then I figure it's all the time better showing than just telling people what to do. So here this is like a little bit icy, but it can be just normal snow, and just put that on where you think it's a little bit too thin and just go slightly. You don't want to hit too hard and make fall down your shelter, especially when you didn't sleep in it and it's not iced up. So you just can patch these places. Actually, all the snow that you took from the outside, from the inside out, you can just take that and throw it right away on top again, and then go around and just gently just put it on, and it just comes stronger shelter. So this shelter would actually be, I could close up the other side now in the back there, and we'll show you how. It would be ready to sleep in, actually, this shelter. So it's very low here, so you can see the entrance. I go in, I hit the platform, and it goes up, and that's what you see from behind there. And I go up, 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 up. I hope you see that. So this shelter would already be good. The entrance is pretty small, so, and you want to keep it as tight as you can fit your butt through. So keep it really small. So you will see, I explain in a minute why all this is so important. So I'm gonna just even when this shelter would be perfectly fit for survival, and just make it nice, then we keep that all winter, and the children and the kids and the big children will play in there. So I finish that up, and then I show you how to close the back door and explain the whole principle, actually, what I should have done in the beginning of the video. Okay, I just want to show you now how to close the back, and just so you see again one more time before I close this platform. Okay, I put some snow down here that I will take out, but you see this nice platform that goes to the actual where you sleep. And my doggy wants to help. Okay, so how we close the back down. And by the way, there's maybe 1.5 hours of work involved right now, all by myself. So if you're 2 people, and this is a two people shelter, if you're 2, you can considerably speed up the process. So just give you a better look from the inside one more time before we close it. You have this nice platform for 2 people. You cannot sit up in here, and that's what we want. Okay, now what I did is I went into the little forest just behind my house and just looked for a dead balsam fir tree, and just pushed it down, and in between 2 trees just broke the pieces I need. So that took about 5 minutes, not more. So what I do now, I will put you on a tripod again and show you how to do that. Okay, now we have to close this, so you can take any kind of sticks, actually, doesn't matter. So we just take the little tree, dead tree I must mention, I took down, and just lay that on cross here, and just take pieces like this. Nothing fancy, don't try to get too fancy with it, and just close that down here. And you see my little tree, without too much checking, actually will close that down perfectly. So there we go. So just the rest of the pieces, I just stuck them in. Try not to get any sticks pointing inside, then that's where our head will be at the end, hopefully. So now we close that down and I show you exactly how. So you have all the time layers in snow, and if there's not layers, you can use cross sticks, and in a survival situation you can use balsam fir or spruce or whatever and just cover that up. I won't use that, then it's a practice, so I don't use live materials. Same thing, normally I would put in, before closing that door, spruce boughs, spruce, green spruce, or actually spruce is not as comfortable. You better go with balsam fir and cover that whole thing, the bottom, with like about 4 inches or so of sticks, a really good layer that insulates you from the cold ground. Now in this one we will sleep, we just put blankets and stuff in and foam mats. Then we are not in a survival situation, so I don't just take off any living branches to practice these skills. So let me show you. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm just cutting off ice pieces, like crusty snow, and while for my luck they're right on top on this side. Okay, let me put back the camera on the door. There we go, like this. Okay, and now what I'm doing, I'm just covering with these slabs. Not hitting anything, just covering it. So, if you don't have crusty snow, like I said, survival is not about knowledge, but well, it is, but it is mostly about to adapt. Meaning, if you don't have that, the only limitation you have is your imagination. So to cover these sticks, anything that can hold actually snow. So crusty snow like this is perfect. So once this is all covered, all you have to do then is shovel snow on top of it, and don't push too hard, but pack it down. Don't hit it like crazy, you don't want to crumble, make your shelter crumble, of course, but for now the shelter in this state is not as bomb proof as it is after one night or even an hour, just your body heat making it so strong, or even the sun now, so it's all fresh. So we just pile that up. Yeah, just throw a ton of snow on. Better too much than not enough. Then there might be holes in there. And you really want to pack that full so you don't have any air draft coming through. You can fast forward that, but I'm done in about a minute. So we're done, and I will show you the inside now, how it looks. Now I have family obligations and we'll be back to finish the entrance tomorrow. But all in all, this shelter, when you buy your own and you do a one-man shelter, takes about 1.5 hours. For this bigger size 2-man shelter, take about 2 hours, all by myself. Okay, without shovel, you have to maybe take an hour more or so, depending how good is your shovel making. So if you look, I'm climbing the inside, and it has to be difficult going inside. When you look at the back, this is fully closed, but now you see the platform. I'm coming up, and this is the shelter. 2-man shelter. You cannot sit up. It is really for laying down, and take away 4 inches from the ground. 4 inches for spruce leaves or whatever you put in for isolation. But in here, it will be, even in very cold temperatures, very cozy. I had, like I said, students sleep in there by below 25. They took their sleeping bag, then they didn't believe me it would be warm. And after 20 minutes, they had to crawl out their sleeping bags. Then they were just sweating. So I will show you how we finish the entrance here, and then explain what it is all about and why this keeps you actually warm. Okay, I decided to finish it anyhow and push my family duties a little bit back. Then there's only about 5 to 10 minutes more to do, and the shelter is done. So it will have to take me a little bit less than 2 hours. But it's very realistic in my opinion. Of course I made, like I said, about 50 of those, but more or less. I didn't count them precisely, but many. And I see rarely that they're done the right way. So I really wanted to show you. And once I'm done, I will bring my wife and we show you the space inside, or maybe my daughter, depends who wins the race. So I just explain quickly what is the principle behind it. So like I explained, the door here is lower, so the door here is actually lower, the entrance, then the platform will start. So the platform is higher than the door frame here. So what that means, like we know, cold air sinks, warm air rises. So what we want to do is to make it as hard as possible for cold air to get to the platform. So the first barrier inside is actually this platform, and here the wind cannot just rush through and come on the platform, so this will be stopped. Then when you look, this is really low, right? So it's not easy to get in here, and that's exactly for that reason. But now we will make an old barrier and one more that makes it even harder. We will put a rim here that is a little bit higher than the door, so that the air will have to go actually over that, under, come down again and up again. What is for cold air almost impossible. Well, it will be a little bit air, of course you will have an air exchange, but on top of that you can plug the door from the inside with a bag, a nice sheet, or like I said, spruce or whatever. You can post that and make it, it's not airtight. That doesn't mean you cannot breathe, and it's snow. Snow is not like 100% airtight or so. There will be still an exchange, and the door is not air shut, so there will be an exchange. You won't suffocate in it, but you definitely don't want to put, like, of course, like a candle or so. That will actually eat up the oxygen. You will hear people say that you can use a candle. Yes, you can if you have one, for a half an hour or so, just to ice up the thing inside, so it's really packed and it's not, the snow doesn't move around anymore when you lay on it or so. But otherwise, not when you're sleeping. You want to have air to breathe, not any heat source that will consume oxygen. So let's stop talking and do this rim quickly. So what we do, we just pack up snow here. And in the inside here, take it away and do this quick rim. And really, it can be really large, and doesn't need to be super precise, as long as it's higher than the door will be, is actually. Sorry for my English, it's not that perfect. You see, I make it very wide, then the snow is very crystal-like, so it means it doesn't hold very well. So the wider I make it, the easier it is to pack on there. And of course, the snow will stiffen from time with the time, and the sun, especially when I pack it down like this, it will be holding up. So you see, that goes very quickly. Of course, again, you can use like these blocks and just build with them, like I'm lucky to have here. So I just pile them up a little bit like an igloo. And voila. You see, it goes fairly quickly, so hang in there with me. We will get to the end. Okay, you see we're almost done. I will cut and come back when it's done, like 5 more minutes. Okay, we finished the shelter. Now you can see the wall here. Wait, the lighting is really bad. Let me just... Okay, there we go. So the wall here, normally you see it's still lacking a little bit of height. You want it as high as the door, but this one the kids will go in and they won't be able to climb over it. So it really took only about 10 minutes to do this, and really without working too hard. And the shelter is pretty much done. So 2 hours of work and you have a very functional snow shelter. Now I will give you an inside tour also, but I just want to explain one more thing that's really important. Is when you do this shelter, that's why we do the back door. Don't work too hard so you get all sweaty. Keep it steady. It's better to take 1 hour more and working, and while you're working you're warm. You won't be freezing to death. You get warm, it doesn't matter how cold it is. Well, okay, there are limits. I hit my limit around below 40, more or less. I think that's Celsius and Fahrenheit below 40, that's where they creep up to each other. Well, it's around that mark where I really had troubles myself. But otherwise, if you're working, you stay warm. And the trick is not to overwork. When your layers get all wet, and if you, by bad luck, wearing a death cloth, meaning cotton, then it's even more important that you go really slow. Take your time and build the shelter, so once you creep in, you don't have to dry with your body heat all the clothes out, and you're already cozy actually when you go in there. So I will show you the inside tour, and that's it. Okay, like promised, I will show you now the inside with somebody in, so when I go inside you can actually see the space. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so you can see here, that's the space. So there's space for two people. Now this is pretty tight, and that means it is very warm actually. So okay, I just wanted to explain you something. Is that it's 3 days ago that we finished it, and it's only now I show you actually the inside. Then I had to teach a class exactly on that subject the weekend, and we hit the coldest night this year. It was on the top of the mountain, was below 45, and students slept actually in a shelter at below 45, and they were very comfortable. So like this is very tight, like I said, the space here, so it is way more efficient that way. So one thing you can do is make it a little bit bigger in the beginning so you're not scared, and it might settle a little bit so you lose space and have to scrape out a little bit more. So you can make it a little bit, you know, a little bit bigger than just like this, like almost a oversized sleeping bag. So like you see, if I again turn, if you see like here, this is the platform and you can see the door actually, so it's actually really blocked well, and you can, there won't be any cold air actually up here. I can feel it's really getting warm actually here just by being inside for about 2 minutes. Okay, I just show you one more time the back, and that's it. So you can see there, that's where the back door where we closed up again, and like you see, she's very comfortable laying here. So for the two of us in a very cold night, this would be perfect size. But like I say, you can make it a little bit bigger. Then in the beginning, there's a good chance that you have some sort of claustrophobia, like most people, and but you get over that, especially once you know how strong these are. One more thing is like, most students don't believe how strong they are actually once they're done. And yesterday when we came home, just before packing up, I had 9 students on top of one of these shelters at the class yesterday, on top of the mountain.
and there were over 1,000 pounds altogether, 9 people. And the thing didn't, not one little bit move. So to be scared that they will fall on you, especially once you sleep in and they're all iced up, they're like bomb proof, seriously. And you can, when the weather gets warmer and it sags down a little bit, just pack more snow on top and scrape it out again a little bit, so you can all the time adjust it. That's pretty much it. Have fun building one.